Xi Jinping suddenly departs midway through Central Economic Meeting, reason revealed. Banks liquidate major developers for the first time, offer buy one get one free in troubled China real estate market. Population decline in 6 Chinese provinces, civil chaos emerges. Yellen, U.S. to sanction Chinese banks, officials if they aid Russia, rejects another China shock. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Xi Jinping suddenly departs midway through Central Economic Meeting, reason revealed. In December last year, Xi Jinping had suddenly walked out of the Chinese Communist Party's Central Economic Work Conference, a crucial annual event for the CCP, acting as a barometer for assessing the current economic climate and shaping policy directions for the upcoming year. Wang Huntao, chairman of the National Committee of the China Democratic Party, revealed to NTD the reason behind it. According to Wang, Xi's exit was prompted by his anger over the persistent economic troubles being tackled with Li Keqiang's traditional methods focused on livelihood and employment, rather than innovative or high-tech strategies. Xi felt the ghost of Li Keqiang's influence haunting every discussion, with his old policies repeatedly cited as counterpoints by the State Council and economic departments, significantly weakening Li Keqiang's grip on power. Li Keqiang, since taking office, has been gradually aligning with Xi Jinping's vision and diminishing the legacy of Li Keqiang. In his inaugural State Council session, Li Keqiang dramatically cut a major reform backed by his predecessor and emphasized strict adherence to Xi's commands. On a later trip to Hunan, he pushed for a focus on high-tech manufacturing, signaling a move away from the public welfare priorities characteristic of Li Keqiang's policies. Amidst this pivot, rumors swirl that Li Keqiang is losing Xi's favor. This year's restructuring, which placed the State Council firmly under party control, is seen as curtailing its independence. In a shocking departure from over 30 years of tradition, the government also cancelled the premier's customary press conference at the 2 sessions, and Li Keqiang avoided the standard dialogue with foreign executives at the China Development Forum. Wang Huntao observed that Li Keqiang appears to be punished himself, possibly feeling inadequate. Moreover, Xi's apparent doubt over Li Keqiang's loyalty, manifested in excluding him from key events and silencing his public voice, suggests a profound dissatisfaction. Wang disclosed that Li Keqiang is still grappling with a self-critique related to his performance at the Central Economic Work Conference, a document that has yet to meet approval. Wang explained, his ongoing task, as mandated by Xi, is to eradicate the influence of Li Keqiang. Despite Li Keqiang's death, his policies continue to echo, constraining Li Keqiang, who still favors them in areas like foreign investment and private business, even as he pushes for a shift towards elite, high-tech industries. Xi believes the Communist Party excels at marshalling resources for major initiatives and views China's historical concentration on low-end industries as a critical bottleneck. Breaking this pattern requires a shift to advanced sectors, a stark contrast to Li Keqiang's employment and welfare-oriented approach. Wang also noted that Li Keqiang might believe that if the economy declines, high-tech alone won't suffice, necessitating a continued emphasis on public welfare enterprises. This predicament makes it tough for him to directly challenge Xi, leading to a release of tensions at that contentious meeting. Interestingly, right after the conference, Xi Jinping was seen in Hanoi, capital of Vietnam, for a state visit, having advanced his schedule. His absence from half of this vital economic summit, as reported by Bloomberg, marks an unusual deviation from the norm. Banks liquidate major developers for the first time, offer buy one get one free in troubled China real estate market. Beijing developers have introduced a buy one get one free housing deal, highlighting the ongoing downturn in China's real estate market. During the Qingming Festival holiday, the Beijing Tongzhou investment promotion Brilliant AD project launched a special offer. Buyers of a 77-square-meter 2-bedroom apartment would receive a free 108-square-meter house in Yantai, just a short distance from the beach. Additionally, those who completed their purchase between April 4th and 6th and finalized their contracts by April 30th were eligible to win an 8-day cruise and a 3-day trip to Yantai. The properties are priced between 4.3 and 4.4 million yuan, approximately $608,222. While the Beijing properties come fully finished, the Yantai property is not. Buyers are required to pay the full price up front, though payment arrangements can be discussed on site. The offer has generated significant interest and discussion online. Now, such incentives seem to mask a stealthy price reduction. Concerns were also voiced about the impact on Yantai's real estate market, with calls for local government intervention. Reports highlight that the sweeping buy one, get one free incentives reflect the dire state of China's real estate market, now essentially frozen. For quite some time, China's real estate sector, a significant part of its economy, has been experiencing a downturn. In response, the government has implemented various strategies to rejuvenate it, such as lifting home price guidelines, significantly cutting mortgage rates for first and second homes, decreasing minimum down payment requirements, adjusting purchase limits, and distributing trillions in financial assistance. However, these efforts have not succeeded in halting the market's decline, which is instead continuing to worsen and expand. Specialists in the field suggest that conventional methods of utilizing real estate to stimulate economic growth are no longer viable. This is in contrast to 2009, when a stimulus package successfully restored confidence and enabled capital flow. Today's consumers, however, have lost faith in the market's stability, and even substantial incentives are not enough to persuade them. As an expert pointed out, in cities like Shenzhen, speculators are already overextended and reluctant to accumulate more debt. As a result, capital remains idle in banks instead of being invested in the market. Moreover, the situation is worsening as several developers face liquidation threats. Following Evergrande, China Construction Bank, Asia, has initiated legal proceedings to liquidate Shimao Group in a bid to reclaim funds. Shimao Group acknowledged this on April 8, announcing to the Hong Kong Stock Exchange that China Construction Bank, Asia, had filed for its liquidation on April 5, concerning around 1.6 billion Hong Kong dollars, about $204.3 million US dollars. Bloomberg reports that since the onset of the crisis, over 23 Chinese construction firms or related entities in Hong Kong have faced creditor-initiated liquidation actions, with at least 5 companies already forced to close. Since 2021, Chinese developers have defaulted on approximately $111 billion in bonds, both domestic and international. The list of developers embroiled in lawsuits includes Country Garden, Sunac China, Shimao Group, Sun City Group, China Aoyuan, Kaisa Group, Longfor Group, Sifi Holdings, Sino-Ocean Group, among others. U.S. media notes that the real estate debt crisis in China is now moving into a new, complex phase characterized by legal disputes over debt restructuring and the daunting aftermath of potential liquidations. Population decline in 6 Chinese provinces, civil chaos emerges. China is grappling with a significant population crisis that has surpassed international expectations. In 2023, 6 central provinces, Hunan, Anhui, Hubei, Jiangxi, and Shaanxi, reported declines in their permanent populations, according to data from the CCP Statistical Bureau. Hunan Province experienced the most substantial decrease, losing 570,000 people, and had a natural population growth rate of -0.94 per thousand. Hunan Province saw a reduction of 360,000 people with a rate of -3.08 per thousand. The other provinces also faced declines, Shaanxi by 153,600 people, Jiangxi by 129,700, Anhui by 60,000, and Hubei by another 60,000, all exhibiting negative growth rates. Experts attribute this downturn to a combination of low birth rates and high death rates, resulting in a shrinking population. This decline is impacting Chinese society broadly, leading to shifts in family structure and a deepening aging crisis. It's also suggested that the actual figures might be worse than reported, as official data may obscure negative trends. Commenting on the situation, Lan Shu, a U.S.-based political commentator, mentioned that deaths in China due to the COVID-19 pandemic are likely undercounted, which has been a strategy to validate the efficacy of the government's zero-COVID policy. Additionally, Jinping, a former Beijing lawyer and now chairman of the Canadian Federation for Democracy in China, highlighted that the current population crisis is drastically affecting the entire economy by accelerating societal aging, diminishing the demographic dividend, and altering the population structure. This is reducing consumption across many sectors, causing economic deflation, and lowering overall economic activity. The Chinese Communist Party is worried about the declining population and birth rates, but its attempts to encourage fertility through various policies have been ineffective. According to Lan Shu, these policies have had little impact amidst economic problems like downturns, withdrawal of foreign investments, a stalled real estate sector, and a declining stock market, leaving most people financially strapped. The CCP's policies fail to inspire hope, leading to widespread pessimism. Consequently, fewer people are choosing to marry or have children. To address infertility, Beijing and 3 other provinces recently integrated assisted reproductive technologies into their healthcare policies to encourage childbearing among infertile couples. Jinping also pointed out that the heavy economic burdens on young people, high unemployment, and lack of job opportunities leave them feeling hopeless. Despite some stimulus and supportive measures from the CCP, these efforts are largely seen as insufficient and more promotional than practical. Another serious issue affecting China's demographic landscape is the male-female imbalance caused by historical family planning policies, which has left many rural men unable to afford marriage, contributing to social unrest. Media reports from mainland China have highlighted a bizarre trend in rural areas, one-day marriages where couples marry without emotional ties or official registration to fulfill familial and societal expectations, creating a unique matchmaking industry. Lan Shu emphasized the despair regarding the economic and social future, and the fear of family responsibilities in a society where financial independence is hard to achieve. These unconventional weddings are particularly common in North and East China's rural areas. Yellen, U.S. to sanction Chinese banks, officials if they aid Russia, rejects another China shock. On Monday, April 8, in an interview with Sarah Eisen from CNBC while in Beijing, Janet Yellen, the U.S. Treasury Secretary, declared that the United States is poised to sanction Chinese banks, companies, and governmental leaders should they assist Russian military operations in Ukraine. President Joe Biden has empowered the Treasury through a new executive order to impose sanctions on financial bodies supporting Russia's military-industrial sector, though Yellen noted this authority has yet to be applied. Her visit to China included discussions with high-level CCP officials, underscoring the gravity of the situation. Yellen's remarks during her meetings last Friday and Saturday with Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng were particularly direct, warning that significant repercussions would follow any support by Chinese firms for Russia's military activities in Ukraine. This stance is among the sternest communications delivered to Beijing by the U.S. to date. Before Yellen's caution, Antony Blinken, the U.S. Secretary of State, had informed EU and NATO ministers about China's extensive support to Russia, which includes the provision of specialized equipment and expertise, notably in optics and aerospace. This assistance, Blinken noted, is not only exacerbating the conflict in Ukraine but also poses broader international threats. U.S. will not accept another China shock. During her visit to China, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen's primary objective was to alert the CCP to the dangers posed by globally dumping cheap goods due to excess production capacity, emphasizing that the United States will not allow this to threaten U.S. jobs. She referred to the massive influx of low-priced Chinese goods following Beijing's entry into the World Trade Organization as the first China shock, which resulted in the loss of approximately 2 million U.S. jobs and significantly weakened American industrial production. At this time, she stated, "I simply would say, the situation would not be acceptable to the United States." Yellen also voiced concerns about China's increasing output in the green energy sector, including the production of electric vehicles, batteries, and solar panels, amidst low domestic consumption. Throughout her 4-day talks, she criticized China for its strategy of boosting its slow economy through heavy investments in manufacturing, which floods global markets with inexpensive products. This concern was reiterated in discussions with key Chinese officials and during a meeting with the Bank of China's governor, Pan Gongsheng. She expressed worries about China's macroeconomic imbalances, such as weak domestic consumption paired with excessive business investment supported by the government, posing risks to global workers and businesses. Yellen argued that the world can no longer absorb China's vast production capacity without harming foreign industries. Despite these challenges, Yellen mentioned that the Treasury Department plans to initiate more economic dialogues with China to address these issues, although she acknowledged that such imbalances would not be quickly resolved. On the diplomatic front, Chinese officials, including Commerce Minister Wang Wentao, resisted these critiques, with Beijing urging Washington not to politicize trade issues and to view China's industrial strategies objectively. Nonetheless, the overcapacity issue remains a major point of contention in China's trade relations, particularly with the EU and the US. Yellen emphasized that the Biden administration is prepared to advocate for changes in Chinese economic policy and will not tolerate a repeat of the disruptions caused by China's past trade practices, particularly in steel production. She stopped short of detailing specific actions but conveyed a firm stance against accepting the current trajectory of China's trade practices. Let us know your thoughts on today's topic by leaving a comment below. If you found this video helpful, please share it with a friend. It inspires us to continue creating more quality and reliable content. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more interesting insights from China Truths. Thanks for tuning in.